Hey there, Wes Dove with Dove Development and Consulting. So back in 2018, as part of the Live to Lead event that we've hosted here in the Shenandoah Valley over the last several years, one of the simulcast speakers was a guy named Daniel Pink, and he taught that day on the topic of his newest book called When: The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing. And he really talked into a lot of science, a lot of really deep data research and so on that he had compiled along with some other folks over several years of study that really talked about how we as individuals are more effective at different points of time in the day. And no, we're not all the same either. There's three different categories that we fall in. And he really broke that down. And I'm going to tell you, as I'm sharing this with you, I want to say Scout's honor, it was over my head. I watched the content several different times, and it just took a while for me to really digest it. I'm in the process of reading his book right now and really digging into that. But one of the things that Cindy and I were challenged with recently by a friend and a client of ours was to put together a lesson for their annual leadership conference for something this gentleman hosts each year for a group of about 80 or 90 folks around the state of Virginia that really talks about the impact of timing and how it impacts the way we manage our schedules and the way we manage our time. And what I'll piece in that is John Maxwell said for years and years and years, whether he's talking on personal growth and development or he's talking about leadership, we can't manage time. We can only manage our lives and what we do with that time. And over the next several days in Daily Dose of Leadership, our complimentary email series, I'm going to really dive into that and touch on some of the topics that, that really challenge you to think into what are you doing with it. One of the things that Cindy and I've had to think into recently has been really where are we spending our time? How do we use our time? More importantly, how are we investing our time? There's never a lack of things to do, and I'm sure that applies for your life just like it does for ours. Over the years, as we've had different responsibility in the corporate roles that we've held, there's always different things, and it seems like as we're challenged over and over and over, regardless of the role, to do more with less. That's kind of the term I heard in lean manufacturing a lot, in publicly traded companies specifically. Do more with less and cut out that indirect labor. What's the customer willing to pay for, and so on. It tends to stack a lot more on every individual. How do we get more things done? How do we squeeze more into our day? And one of the things that I've heard one of our mentors say over the last several months as we've studied some content with him is what you're doing. It's what you're putting in your blocks of time, whether that's 15-minute blocks of time or hour blocks of time, however you do it. I use my iPhone all the time for the calendar app. And how do I schedule my day? How do I set reminders to make sure I'm staying on track with what I'm doing? Even the email series, I block that time. As soon as this is done, I'm going to jump on the elliptical machine, and that's time that I've blocked to make sure it happens. But where we're going with this lesson, or where we'll go with the several messages in A Daily Dose of Leadership over the next several days, is really looking at how do you develop systems to make the best use of your time. And again, that mentor, he challenges to think into how are you investing your time, and how does that tie back to your purpose or your main responsibility in your life. For Cindy and I today, we no longer have that corporate job that we've really got to fulfill the job requirements, but we do have to keep the lights on. And for us, it's really a determination of how do we make sure we keep the lights on and tie that back to our purpose, what we're really called to do, what our goal is, what we want to strive for on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in our lives and in our business at this point. For many folks, if you've got an employer, if you've got a successful career, that might not be your end goal and purpose, but you may have to tie it back to those roles and responsibilities that you're measured against. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different thought process. It's just a different measure, so to speak. And how can you be most effective? How can you allocate the right amounts of time into those things that you need? So that's my challenge for you in this video. Moving forward, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. Moving forward, I want to set the tone for it. These are the things that we're going to be talking about in the Daily Dose of Leadership over the week to follow the message that I send out and as we post on Facebook and the different social media channels. But I'll challenge you to really think into and look into how you can use these things most effectively for you and the team that you're responsible for. So with that said, hope you have a great day. Look forward to seeing you soon, and God bless.